Well, first off, I'll say that different people have brought up different ideas about trying to stop what's going on downtown or rescind the tax, different things like that. I want to state I wouldn't do that. I think as a community, we're fully committed, and we need to stay fully committed. And I think if we didn't, we would do irreparable damage that would never be fixed. Also, I'd like to say, though, that a couple things that have been done, I believe, have hurt the process that could, if had it been done differently, we would have different results. I don't think, number one, I don't think that the public was educated enough on the process and brought into the process enough. I believe that when the decisions were made, it was too early. It was too early for the general public. They were confused and not sold on the project. So I think we did ourselves damage there. I think, and a part of an indication of that would show up when you think about how many times they said they had a plan, and then they stopped and said, well, this is not our plan, we need another plan. We were going to have 250 rooms, now we're going to have 150 rooms. We had to have that corner at where the state building is. Well, now we don't need that corner. A lot of those kinds of things, I think, happens. It's an indication that we move too quickly. I think we moved way too fast on it. Another example of that is, I think specifically the county government committed their $20 million before they knew what they were committing to. It's kind of like writing a blank check and not knowing what you're going to get for the blank check. And so I think we should have been further along in the process of deciding on what we were going to do before the county should have committed to it. And I think part of the question is, would I have supported the tax? I would not have supported the tax, not the way they did it. I mean, if they'd have waited and the people in the city and the county had bought into the project, and if the people were for it, maybe even we should have polled the population, or we should have the citizens, or we should have found out what they wanted to do. Because most of the people, when you talk to them, they say they're for a downtown project, but they're not for an insurance tax. I don't like the way that went. I probably would not have voted for the insurance tax at the time they voted for it. Some of the other things I think we need to make sure that we do as a community as we move forward is, I think we need, I would like to see us keep some of the people that are moving out of downtown in downtown. For example, I think there's 200 state employees. I think it would be to our benefit to find them a home. It's my understanding there's actually 4 different groups, and if they could find 4 different office buildings to put them in and keep them in the downtown area. Also, when you're talking about developing downtown, I think we need to make it as easy as possible on investors to come downtown. We were shown at a Home Builder Association, we were shown a book that was about, I think, an inch or inch and a half thick on rules and regulations for planning and zoning to implement. It's not planning and zoning's fault, it's rules they have to implement for anybody moving downtown. It's kind of, I'd rather see us make it easier for investors instead of restricting investors to move downtown. We need to move in a direction to make it easier for them. Also, one last thing I'll mention. One of the big restrictions in downtown, anytime you talk to anyone, they talk about the fact there's not enough parking. So, if you're going to spend big dollars, you need to spend them to remove some of the barriers. And one of the big barriers for downtown is parking. So we should be doing in the future, somehow we need to look at removing that barrier, parking barrier. So
You had said that you're not in favor of, would not have been in favor had you been in office of using the insurance premium tax to fund this, and that there are a lot of folks that haven't liked that method. Was there a better way that you believe there would have been to fund the downtown master plan?
well, first off, make sure you understand what I'm saying is that if the people had been on board and wanted to do that, I would have voted for it. But I don't think that the people were on board, and so it was something that even if we didn't do it, I would not have voted for it. I think the only other way that we have to finance it is from the general budget, and if we couldn't do it out of the general budget, I wouldn't have been for it without giving the people opportunity to vote on it,
Okay.
formally or informally. But
If going forward, there's talk that the event center, which, as you mentioned, the county's investment of $20 million and the city has committed to $7 to $8 million. If that project ends up costing more than that $27-28 million price tag, would you be in favor of the county increasing its investment in that project and in downtown as a whole?
only if we can do it with the current tax rate and the current budget, only if it's there.